Welcome to the Two Dads No Supervision podcast. I'm your host, Ian, with my co-host, Drew.
I got to do something. I need a really cool hook at the beginning of every episode where people aren't like, man, that guy, what is he on?
That is our hook.
Welcome to the Two Dads No Supervision podcast, where we talk about pee, politics, Panthers, and parenthood. We're not afraid to cross streams, even though we're standing in different stalls.
All right. Today we're going to be talking about Panthers football. We will talk about the blueprint that was released, our thoughts on it, and then a Pro Bowl cornerback just got released. Would they be a good fit for the Carolina Panthers? They are from Carolina.
Is he?
He is. He is from Carolina. Yeah. So
See, I have this problem. As soon as someone gets drafted, suddenly like all former identity that they had is gone, and now they're identified with that state. Whatever.
Yeah, he went to Louisville, I believe, but he grew up in the Charlotte area or the North Carolina area.
Okay,
somewhere around there. But yeah, let's get into the blueprint. What are your thoughts? What are the things that stood out?
Okay, for me, I equally love and hate the blueprints. I love the excitement that it builds. Each year it seems to be a little more egregious, where it's like, oh yeah, this was our guy the whole time. Nothing surprised us in the draft. We got everyone we wanted. Everyone was a first round grade. No way. Okay, no. None of that is real. I know it's not real, and I hate how much it hates me want to love the Panthers even more. I know that you're setting me up for disappointment, and whoever you are, Panthers media team, you're doing a good job, but stop it.
Yeah, the cinematics that they come out with is amazing, and it does really make me think. Yeah, these guys really know what they're doing. I will say, when they were doing the blueprint with Matt Rule and he was on the phone with the long snapper, or when
should have known,
or when his wife was the person who told him to draft Chuba. That didn't really install a lot of confidence in me. I was more like, oh crap, like this team sucks, right? So I will say, with Dave Canales and with Dan Morgan, the blueprint seems a lot better and they seem a lot more competent. I don't know if that's just cinematics. I think they're just more competent. Which is great.
I like how this year they made sure to add a little blurb of like, oh, by the way, David Tepper, our owner, he is a perfect human being and just the smartest person in the world. And he never tells us what to do with football stuff, but we ask his advice on trades all the time because he is such a good businessman. Okay, yeah, he is a good businessman. We don't believe you on the other stuff because we have been fans for a while now, so I would like to believe what they put out there. I still need probably another 2 seasons of this behavior to believe it.
Yeah, I want to figure out who David Tepper's burner is on Twitter, because I know he has one, right? He's talked about Panthers Twitter several times about, oh, those people in the basement, they have no idea what they're living in their mom's basement and they're complaining about me. That's someone who has a burner. So if you know where David Tepper's burner is, I am asking you right now. I will give you financial rewards.
$5.
Not a lot of financial, like $5. But if you can find me David Tepper's burner on Twitter, there is a crisp $5 bill with your name on it, because we know he's actually out in the Twitter street or the X streets. But yeah, I mean, all this really did was get me excited for Panthers football. I think we've been conditioned the last few years that once the season is over, we can just kind of not even worry about the Panthers anymore because the front office was a joke, right? We were going to sign people who were going to suck. We were going to draft people who weren't going to be there in 2 years, right?
We're going to greatly overpay medium talent to stay.
Exactly. But now this reminded me, oh wait, this is not the Panthers of the Matt Rule era. This is a new form of Panthers here. And I'm excited. I am so excited. I think that, again, I've said it before, I will say it again. The Carolina Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl in 2025.
If you say it enough times, you'll be wrong a lot. Okay. I'm excited that at the beginning of round 2, Dan Morgan was like, hey, we might get Princely in the third, the way this is going. So that does make me think, hey, maybe they were thinking about some draft picks further in advance. And it wasn't like, well, all right, we got 2 picks until ours, and then let's see who's on the board. And okay, we like these guys. But we know Dan was excited about Princely, not excited enough to draft him in the second, which hopefully adds motivation, some fire to Princely, where he's like, what took you guys so long? Like he said on the phone there. From my perspective, I really love all of the picks, like every single one. I know a lot of people hated Trevor Etienne as a pick. I get it. We need another body. He has some big playability. He can be, now my mind's drawing a blank. The Giants had that 3-headed monster for a while with Brandon Jacobs, and then was Ahmad Bradshaw. And who was the third guy? Brandon Jacobs, Ahmad Bradshaw, Derek Ward.
Oh yeah, Derek Ward. Shout out to Derek Ward.
We think about you all the time. Ian's got a poster of you.
He was a star on and off the field.
Yeah. Scholar and a gentleman. No, those like the Giants and their 3-headed attack was awesome. And we don't have Brandon Jacobs. Chuba's he's getting to be a violent runner. Rico fills in, and I think he complements Chuba pretty well. Trevor could be like a high potential version of what we've already had on the roster with Raheem Blackshear. Trevor Etienne could be a high potential version of Raheem Blackshear. So at the very least, we upgraded a special teams position and our third running back in the 4th round. That seems like solid value to me.
Yeah, I like the Etienne pick. I think getting someone who has played in the SEC, who has played behind bad offensive lines and good offensive lines, and then someone who has a brother in the NFL who can show him how to be a pro, because, the Jaguars' Etienne really had some issues when he first got in the league, right? So to have that mentorship, yep.
He had injury, and then he came, and the Jaguars have been chaotic.
He had the fumbling issues.
Who knows what Trevor Lawrence is going to be? Is he Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, or is he Ryan Leaf?
I don't know if he's Ryan Leaf, but I think it's pretty clear he isn't Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell. So at least the Jaguars know that. But yeah, no, I liked every pick that we had. I think that this offseason, and we talked about this in a previous episode, has been a really good offseason to really lay down the foundation of who we're going to be for at least the next 5 years, right? Because that is the window here with Bryce Young. 5 years, and we'll reevaluate after those 5 years, but I think we're going to have 5 Super Bowls. I think that Bryce Young is going to have 5 MVPs. And I think that we're going to have the Rookie of the Year on offense or defense 5 times in those 5 years.
There's literally nothing else that could happen. That is the only possible outcome. Doctor Strange told us.
This just shows the listeners that I am an actual fan, like a fanatic. right? I am delusional enough to actually believe this. Will I put money on games? No, because gambling is wrong. Unless if DraftKings or if any of the other sports betting companies want to sponsor us, then I'll throw away that moral, and we will promote sports betting as much as you want us to do, as much as you're going to pay us.
So to give you all an idea of who Ian is off camera, I was laughing about that this morning in our Panthers Messenger group. We still have a note pinned at the top where Ian said, Ian, promise not to get overly passionate about a single player in this draft. Because in years past, Ian's the guy that's like, this is who it is, or no, we absolutely hate this guy. I can't believe this is happening, and the whole world is falling apart. So that's
Yes, I stake my flags on people. The last one that I really put my the last one that I really went to bat for was Anthony Richardson, which I still, the jury is, I know Colt fans, the jury is not out on Anthony Richardson. He's had injuries, but the tools are there. This guy
be the Steelers starter next year.
He is going to be the runner-up to Bryce Young in the MVP every year for the next 5 years. But yeah, so
I think, okay, so I have a group of friends, and shout out to you guys because I know you're gonna watch this. I got Dustin and Jake and Jacob. We're in fantasy football leagues together, and Dustin and I have been friends for probably 15 years now at this point. Not quite, but over a decade. And Dustin and I are both Panthers fans, and we don't have Super Bowls to celebrate, but we do have drafts. So every year for the NFL draft, we always get together. It's like a potluck. We'll have barbecue and chips and dip and all sorts of way too much gluttonous havings there. And we will watch the first round of the draft late until the wee hours of the morning. And we actually have a running game where we bring whiteboards with markers and we'll predict the next pick, and we check off who gets the most picks right. The first year we did it, we had money in it, and I created this really cool and elaborate game that like when picks were tied or whatever, money goes into the pot. Whoever has the most points at the end of the night gets the pot. People kept quitting in that game. That year we had like 7 people show up to the draft party, and the pot was getting pretty big, and people were like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. I'm out. I can't handle this. Like, and I ended up losing that year by 1 point, and I lost out on like $150 or something. And that was the last year that I was allowed to make the rules for the games. But every year we have our draft party, and I think the Christian McCaffrey draft was the one where I was really passionate about a few players. I loved Leonard Fournette. Man, his tape looked like he was the next Walter Payton. Like he was a superstar. But then I started watching this white kid from Stanford, and I was like, hold on a second. This boy's nice. He's got the receiving ability. He's really zippy and shifty, and he's deceptively athletic. Like you look at him and like, I don't know. But Christian was my guy. And you know who else I wanted that draft? I really wanted us to trade up into the late first round, maybe at the second round if he fell. This dude who already had a brother in the NFL played defensive end, and we needed a defensive end. Went to the Steelers, and now TJ Watt has ruined the Panthers forever with his hit to Cam Newton's shoulder. And he should have been playing for us. If I were the GM and not Dave Gettleman or Marty Herney or whoever it was that year, Dave Gettleman, then we wouldn't have had to watch the downfall of the greatest Carolina Panthers quarterback ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people who, like, Keenan Allen, he should have been a Panther. That was, again, grew up in North Carolina. It was just such an easy, he was an easy first rounder who just kept falling in the draft due to injury and stuff. And it was just like, imagine if we had Keenan Allen and Steve Smith going at the same time. Again, I mean, there's so many people that you can look back on and say they should have been Panthers, that we all saw it, but for some reason the general managers couldn't see it. But hindsight is 2020. I'm sure that there are, a million people who I was like, the Panthers should have drafted, so and so, and they never turned out. They never turned out to be anything, right? But yeah, no, I think it was a good episode. I think that it was something that sparked the passion of football season is coming back for me. And I can't wait until training camp starts and until preseason starts, and really seeing how this team starts to gel together. Right. We saw it with the offensive line last year. If we can get it to a point where the defense is gelling, and we'll segue that into a surprising release today. But
yeah,
if we can get the defense to gel, I think that, again, I've said it many times before, and I'm going to say it until the Super Bowl is over. And
you'll probably say until the first round of the playoffs, and then next year.
Well, I mean the playoffs are the Panthers are going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to win every game in the playoffs, right? So I'm going to stop saying this after the Super Bowl, and I'm going to say, see, I told you. We're repeating next year. That's going to be my my line next year. But yeah, let's talk about Jaire Alexander.
Yeah. So if you look at right now the OTAs and the videos coming out of that, it looks like Bryce Young and T-Mac are cooking, which that can be a good sign. And we need them to cook. We don't need them to cook our defense. And the question is our defense up to par? We had statistically the worst defense in NFL history last year. And we have the same defensive coordinator, which is a different conversation. But we know that J.C. Horn is a really good player. How good? I don't know. I don't know if he's just standing out in the midst of, like, he's the diamond in the middle of the pigsty and like, oh, he's really good, or if he is just genuinely a superstar talent. I hope that's the case. We do know on the other side, Mike Jackson is a starting cornerback. And in my opinion, Mike played really well last year, for especially coming off of the back end of Seattle's defense. And like, he was on the bench there. We traded for him, and within like 2 weeks, he was starting for us and getting targeted a lot because people are avoiding J.C. Horn. So he shows up, Mike Jackson shows up on tape a lot more than just any cornerback would show up. And so I think overall he played pretty well. He got burned a few times, but he plays aggressively. He does really well following and tracking his guy going down the field in man coverage. I don't know the stats on that. I just know that what I saw when I was watching the games. I enjoy his energy, but he's definitely not on J.C. Horn's level, and he's certainly not on Jaire Alexander's level.
Yeah. And the thing with the Jaire is Jaire can play inside too, right? So it does give you a lot of flexibility if you were to sign Jaire. But the biggest thing is as you said, we were statistically the worst defense in NFL history last year. So beggars cannot be choosers. Even if you look at Jaire and you say, hey, he's had some injuries that may affect, what that top ceiling is going to be that you're going to get out of him, it's still better than what you had last year, right? Bring him home, have him play in front of his home people, and really solidify this defense, because we've invested a lot into the defensive line. The linebackers are still a question mark, but if
and
you
the
can
safeties,
get
honestly, Merrick is solid.
they've improved a lot though. So I mean, we've had improvement in the safeties. If you get Jaire Alexander, you lock down the corners. You've built out the actual defensive line there, and then you're just going to be talking about linebackers, which if you have every other piece working well, I'm okay with the linebackers being a question mark, because Tevin Wallace can still come in and develop in his second year and be amazing, right?
And Josie Jewell is solid. He's not a superstar. He's solid. He'll be in the league a long time, as long as he doesn't get injured. He knows what he's doing in his position. He does it solidly well.
I think we've come to the conclusion that I'll call David Tepper up. I've got him on speed dial right here.
No, his burner is watching this right now.
Oh yeah, reveal yourself, please. There's $5 for you if you want to reveal yourself.
Need desperately.
But yeah, go get Jaire Alexander.
Here's the real message I have for David Tepper's burner. Bro, can you take me out to steak dinner and sit me down and give me some business advice? Because on the practical side of things, I could use some help there. And then I'll give you Panthers advice, because I've been around the block, man. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know sometimes what you're doing is wrong, and so I could help.
Yeah, I can at least tell you not to do things.
Yeah.
I may not tell you the exact thing to do, but I can tell you drafting a long snapper when Trey Smith is on the board is not the smart thing to do. I could tell you hiring a grimy coach that has snot on his poncho that has never really won anything in college is not a very smart thing to do.
Matt Rule was such a smooth talker, though, and that's the thing. Like, his opening speech was epic, where you're like, oh, this guy might be the greatest coach in NFL history. We're going to name the Lombardi Trophy the Matt Rule Trophy.
Yeah. There's the two corniest coaches in college football today are Matt Rule and Dan Lanning.
I thought you were going to say Dion.
No. Oh no. It is Dan Lanning at the University of Oregon, where the O on their chest stands for the amount of national championships that they've had in their entire existence. Right. Yeah. You're jumping into a pool with someone under 18 years old, getting them to commit. Dan, what are you doing? What are we doing here, Dan? We see that when you cook your steak, it is way past well done. You are cooking up hockey pucks there, Dan. And there's a reason now with the NIL deal being passed by the House, and it's going to be passed by the Senate too, that Oregon is starting to lose recruits. It's like nobody really wanted to go play for Oregon, but Phil Knight was paying them a lot of money, and now that Phil Knight can't do that, Oregon's recruiting is falling off.
Interesting.
What is Oregon going to do when they don't have a top 5 recruiting class year after year? How are they going to disappoint their fans now?
They could always get a blue field or green
field.
Go
Dogs. Go Dogs.
So, I think we have decided that we need Jaire Alexander and J.C. Horn. Do you think Mike Jackson could be the nickelback, or do we move J.C. to nickel?
So I think both JC and Jair can play inside and outside. I think having that positional flexibility really helps us. I would probably keep Mike Jack out on the boundary. I think that's where he's best at.
Yeah.
And it's just a little easier. So that's what I would do. I would have the positional flexibility with JC and Jair to swap who's playing inside, who's playing outside. Maybe depending on the physicality of the wide receiver we're worried about in the slot. But
I do think we can agree that EJ Evero needs to chill out on putting JC Horn on the defensive line and having him like run as a D end. Like, stop that, dude.
Well, I mean, Slee may be really good in coverage. We haven't seen that yet, but hey, if you can get a lockdown
coverage,
if you can get a lockdown corner who is 260 pounds, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yes, let's stick the positional flexibility. Let's stick with the actual position groups.
Yeah.
Let's not say, hey, JC's a heck of an athlete, let's put him at defensive tackle. But
I feel like
again, I do
EJ's
think
on the
that
sideline going magical. Ooh.
I think that when you lack a lot of talent on the defensive end, that coaches are going to try to get as creative as possible, especially when we didn't have pass rushers, right?
Yeah, but that's too much creativity. Like, chill out a little bit, bro. You're tricking everybody.
I agree,
including our own players.
I agree. And if these things continue to happen after we have actually built out some talent out there, I will agree with you. I will give him a pass right now because, he was trying to coach up guys who, again, I said it last time, I got a call from the Panthers to put on some cleats. So if I got a call, I know the guy at the Publix down the street who actually played defensive end for us for a few snaps,
And I mean, they're so desperate they were calling Stanley McClever back.
Yeah. Shout out to Lucci, man.
So let me ask you this. The Blueprint episode, back to that, was there anything on there that made you less excited about a specific player or coach?
Not really. Now, I think that is the point of this cinematics that they put out, right? They're not going to put out a lot of things that are going to have you think, man, why did we draft McMillan?
Yeah, for me,
why did we,
For me, like I may have been reading into it, and that's mostly my personality. Like, when I see the Blueprint, I know, okay, this is a propaganda piece. They're trying to make me love everyone and all the coaches. So I saw two things that kind of gave me a little question. Canales was all the way on the other side of Dave Tepper, and instead of sitting right next to Dan Morgan. And Dan and Dave are supposedly buddies from the Seattle days, where they would spend a lot of time in each other's offices, shooting the breeze and talking football. And so I thought that was a little odd, the seating there, with Tepper being right in between the two of them.
But remember,
Tepper.
Tepper's a great guy and he's the best guy in the world, but he doesn't do anything on the football side of things.
Yeah.
he just lets the football players do the football. Remember, like that's
Exactly. So that part that gave me a little bit of pause. And then when we got to the Jimmy Horn pick, everyone on Panthers Twitter is like blowing up Jimmy Horn. Like, Jimmy Horn's awesome. He's the second coming of Steve Smith, or whatever they're trying to say. He's a little guy who's fast. I'd love that he is, and I think I talked about this in the last episode. It seems like everything he's doing, he's working extra hard to learn. the position. Makes me think he may not have gotten as good of coaching in Colorado as people are saying, because like he is soaking up everything like a sponge and really, really, really wants to learn. So all of those things are positive. From a talent evaluation side, it seemed like he was an afterthought. Well, what if Jimmy Horn's available there? And then Dave was like, well, he's fast. He can return kicks. And so that seems to be like the ceiling that they have on him is, oh, you know what? Sure, he could be a quick kick returner for us. Which makes me wonder if he has anything more than like maybe 5 snaps a game on the offensive side. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just being drafted that late, it's going to be an uphill battle to get snaps
Certainly.
anyways. So the fact that they already had something carved out for him or like envisioned of like this guy could be our like kick returner, I think actually bodes well. Because if he is doing the things that we see, and he is soaking in the knowledge and he's getting better as a wide receiver, having that value as a kick returner keeps you on the roster, right? There's a lot of people who may have that same drive and that same ability to soak things in, but they don't have that thing carved out for them so that they can stay on the roster. So like their ascension never like happens. So I really hope that it works out for Jimmy. I think that he, like you said, he's doing all the right things to position himself. And the great thing is that wide receiver room is kind of wide open, right? Jalen Coker is not a first round pick that is going to get a lot of chances, right? Adam Thielen is going to be gone, you know. Xavier Legette, like if he doesn't turn into what we hope he turns into, that's another spot that Jimmy Horn could ascend to, right?
If he spends too much time with Glorilla instead of the football.
Look, I will take any publicity that we can get for the Carolina Panthers. You know, get your publicity in now, because once we go to the Super Bowl and we win, then everybody's going to be clamoring about how great the Panthers are and how how Xavier Legette is our Travis Kelce and Glorilla is our
Taylor
our
Swift.
Taylor
I was
Swift,
wondering if we're the poor version of that.
No, I mean we're just the we're just the country version of that, right? When both
I was wondering how you describe it.
Yeah, when both Glorilla and Xavier Legette get to talking, it is it's great to see because they understand each other, right? And so it is that
I've not heard her speak
Southern. Oh, she's got that deep like Southern like Xavier Legette style talking, right? Where it's they are definitely Southerners, right? So that's great. That's what you want from the Carolina Panthers. So you want like the Carolina Panthers to really bring in that Southern hospitality aspect, right? I think it'd be great. Glorilla would come and we would get Lotto and all the other people who just like all the people who hang around Taylor Swift. You would get all the people who hang around Glorilla and and then people would start making memes of, oh my gosh, they panned over to Glorilla again. Why? And I love that.
Is this a good time for us to shout out our buddy Monty?
Yeah.
And try to get him in Glorilla's group.
Yeah. Shout out Monty out there. But yeah.
We're not cool enough to appear in his videos, but maybe he'll like us on Twitter or something.
I mean, I could appear in his videos. I've been in rap music videos before, so
really?
Yeah. Now, you guys are never going to see that, but I've been in them before.
The internet, look, if we get famous, the internet's going to start working. We're going to find it. I need to see it.
Yeah.
Because I picture you like Kip. This is our second Panthers episode, second Napoleon Dynamite reference. But I picture you like Kip after dating LaFonda in a rap video.
No, I was still pretty pale and white and just there. But I mean, there's pit bulls all around me, and just a bunch of like It is like the weirdest song for me to be a video in, but it's okay. So like I can't even mention the name of the song because I'm not allowed to say the word that the song is referencing, but I'm in it. I'm in it quite frequently. So there is that. But yeah, no. Shout out to Monty. Shout out to everybody from the 4-Man Rush. They do amazing work.
They do. We need to get them on here sometime. We also need to get them posting again more often. Like we missed the 4MR episodes. That's cool. Hey, we're gonna be on their level soon. Maybe. If we keep shouting them out, then maybe they'll invite us onto their shows, and then. That's how it works, right?
Maybe. Well, here's the thing. We're going to blow up so quickly that they're going to come to us.
Exactly.
And we're going to...
Guys,
we're going to be
down.
like, hey, where were you guys?
Well, hello there. This has been another episode of Two Dads, No Supervision. And surely we need some supervision, so please be sure to tell us in the comments what we need to do to fix ourselves. Also, like, share, subscribe. We love you all. We appreciate your attention. Thank you guys, and be good. What a dad would say.